Folks, here we are at Velomobile.nl in Dronten, the Netherlands, the epicenter of the Velomobile world. And I'm here with Allert. Thank you very much, Allert, for taking the time this morning to speak to us, to speak to the Laid-Back Bike Report, which, of course, is also viewed over here in Europe. And today we would like to talk a little bit about Velomobile.nl and in particular about the Snoek L version, which is the larger version of this beautiful Velomobile, the Snoek. So, Allert, how do you like the response of the Velomobile riders on the Snoek? Is that overwhelming, or is that what you had expected?
Well, I made it for Eva.
Yeah.
My wife. So, and it started out as a sort of a hobby project. I didn't really intend to produce it. So it's kind of a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, it turns out to be, you can say the fastest production Velomobile. And it seems like a lot of people want that speed.
Yeah, and the order book is quite filled, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the lead time at this point?
I think about 1 year.
What, you want 1 year
Yeah.
for a Snoek? Okay, but unfortunately, there are people like ourselves who may not be comfortable in a Velomobile of this size.
Yeah, I don't fit in. I never rode it. That's a pity, because I would like to.
Yeah. yeah, that's a real pity to not being able to ride your own creation.
Yeah, right. And it's not good also if you want to make some changes, let's say, and the steering geometry or the way it behaves at high speed or things like that.
Yeah.
So I only hear from people that ride it that something is not good or could be improved or should be different, but I don't know.
Yeah. Did you make any changes to the series model, so to the regular production model of the Snoek?
The steering geometry we changed, but we changed it on all of them, so there's not one that doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And at the moment, Dennis from France, he's working on stability at high speed, mainly because he crashed at high speed.
Oh.
He was lucky to come out unharmed, but he crashed at 80 kilometers an hour.
Dennis is the guy who also builds the Duo Quest, isn't he?
Yeah.
In Brittany, in France.
Right. Yeah. So at the moment he's experimenting with a spoiler. He made a spoiler like you see the most car spoilers, like the horizontal spoiler in the back. He said it doesn't work. Yeah. It only slows you down. And he also did an experiment with sort of a shark fin on the back.
Okay.
And he said that does work. That gives it.
So that fin would be sort of put on. Is it an add-on, or would you add it to this?
No, I do it as an add-on. I was curious what he would find, because I can still make changes on the Snoek L, which I'm working on currently. Yeah. But I don't want to make a shark fin integrated because. A lot of people will never drive so fast. Anyway, not people in the lowlands like here in Holland or northern Germany. So it would be good as an add-on. Yeah. So just let's say 2 screws or just tape it on.
And tape it on. Yeah. Can I show it into the camera like this? You see this? This is the stabilization fin we were talking about for the very high-speed people among us. But Allert, now let's talk a little bit about the Snoek L. Pretty soon after this had come out, and orders kept flooding in, and people asking, now why can this not be made for someone like me? You decided to quickly introduce or quickly prepare a larger version.
No, it's not so much about people asking. It's more about me and Theo.
Okay. So you want to ride this,
We want to ride it, so that's the main reason. Like, the main reason for making the Snoek was Eva.
Yeah.
But I would like to... I love my Quattro. I'm perfectly happy with my Quattro, and I will use it for commuting and shopping, things like that. But I'd like to have a fast one on the side. So that's where it started. So I'm making one that would just fit tail.
Okay.
Now, tail is 1 meter 96.
All right, 196. So is the benchmark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be maximum to fit in. So we started from there, and as we know that tail can
fit into the Quattro-Velo. Yes.
Quattro-Velo, normal Quattro-Velo, not the plus version. He can just fit in. He's just clear with the knees. Oh, he's touching sometimes, but that would be what we want for the Snoek, just very tight fit.
Okay, so you take that measurement here.
Yeah. We just measure from here to the seat, and we know that this height, or let's say maybe half a centimeter extra, would be perfect to fit tail in. And then we measure it from here, and the difference is what we have to add to the Snoek.
Which is then how much is it? Like
it's 10. I've added 65 millimeters, so
6.5 centimeters more, 65 millimeters more. But that's not all that there is. You know, now you've added 65 millimeters here.
Yeah, well, actually, I added it on a different. But there's some pictures. Maybe you can mix in some of these pictures. But in the cut was here on the widest, or actually, as you do this, you will find where
the widest part.
The widest point is. So it varies. So it starts here, and then it goes down, and it goes up again at the tail. So that's where the cut is, and the 65 millimeters is added. But then tail has long legs, so we also had to add some in the length.
Right.
So that's why we cut it at the widest point here, and added 10 centimeters there.
So it's the Snoek L will be 10 centimeters longer.
A bit more than that.
A bit more, because you also added some in the back.
Some in the tail.
Yeah.
Because the small Snoek is a tight fit for the 700C wheel.
Right.
And you see this almost here.
On the against the wheel arch, yes.
Yeah. So I would like to have a little bit more here. So I added the tail, I don't know exact, maybe 6-8 centimeters about here. And then we had this thing in the width. Yeah. Because there was this one.
There's also this distance here, you know. Which
the shoulder width is the thing. Tail fits in, I can fit in, but people with a little wider shoulders cannot. So we decided to add a little bit in the width. So we made a cut right
over
here,
there,
and then ended up with 2 cuts here to make the bumps a little wider, and then back to 1 cut here, all through the bottom, and just make it 2 centimeters wider. It's just 2 centimeters.
It's just 2 centimeters wider in this dimension, which means you get 1 centimeter on each side of the shoulders.
For the shoulders, right? Yeah.
Okay, and now that is now done.
That is done. Yeah.
The plugs are in Romania.
No,
not yet.
I'm working on it.
Oh, you're working on it. So the plugs are at your home.
Yeah.
But essentially the final shape is done. Is there. Yeah. So now it's all a little bit of refinement, sanding, or
you have to smooth it out, because if you have a curve like this and you make a cut here, and you widen it,
you have to reshape the curve.
You have to reshape. You have to not only the added bit, but you have to start right here to make it a really fluent line and a nice curve. So yes, a lot of putty goes on that.
Yeah. Okay. And that means sometime during the summer, this will be done.
We hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that goes to Romania to create.
Yeah. Well, I would like to build a mold like we did with the smaller Snoek. Build it here. Build a mold here. Yeah. And make the first. I think we made 3 or 4 Snooks before we send it all to Romania. So that they made their own mold there. Yeah. But now we also sent our mold there to increase production. But I'd like to build the first ones ourselves, just to find out how to do the lamination and where.
And then you also have to adjust some of the interior parts, don't you? Like there needs to be a new bridge, and everything needs to be readjusted to the new dimensions.
It's not as it's not as much work as it was for this Snoek, but because you can still use large parts of the wheel boxes that are there, but they don't fit perfectly, so you have to make new flanges and adapt to it.
Do you also get 2 centimeters more between the wheel arches?
We did not make up our minds about that, because if you keep it this way, I would fit in, Theo would fit in, and the 2 centimeters you could use the 2 centimeters to make the wheel boxes a little bit wider, which would make your turning signal a little bit less. You could do that.
Maybe sometimes you have those people with this really big thighs that they complain about rubbing on the wheel arches. So that's something that I would anticipate, that you then have people say, but I'm touching all the time.
But that would be at the expense of the turning circle then.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So the Snoek L is to be expected on the market towards the end of the year, next spring?
Maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
Could be.
And I'm revealing a little secret here. There is already a not official list of people interested in this. You haven't even started your formal list, haven't you? Yeah. So, folks who want to be among the earliest adopters, write an email to Velomobile.nl rather sooner than later to be introduced into that informal list of people interested in the Snoek L.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, some other change.
Yes.
Because now I have one, so I'm working at this at home. And I have a seat, so I can sit in it and see if everything is like I would like it to be. And then I found out that the headrest here is quite close, so I wanted to have a little
bit
more
further
room.
back.
Yeah, so I made a cut through here and put just the front part a bit more to the back. So I have about, I think it was 4 centimeters extra now. So
that you have in the...
for if you have a helmet or you would like to have a really soft
cushion there,
pad then you have enough.
Because otherwise you would be touching with your head pretty soon here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I also did that. I made some changes to the design. So this line runs there and making some.
But that this distance here is rather short is on purpose. Because once you sit in here, your shoulders are safely under here. Which will mean that you will not, in case of a rollover, you will likely remain inside instead of being catapulted outside the Velomobile.
Probably, yes. Up to some point,
but that also requires you need a new hood.
But it's also because you don't get so much air which falls into this hole.
Right.
And that's...
creating resistance then. Yeah. You have an air outlet in the rear?
Here's the air outlet.
Yeah. Which seems to be necessary now with the fast Velomobiles, that when you ride them with a hood, that you actually need to begin to think about how the air is getting out. Yeah. Oh, in former times, that was not a consideration, because we were not that fast.
Well, we had this, Matthias was one of the first to ride it, and he said, when he opened up the visor, this... he lost this. Because the air pressure would push it out. Just pushed it out and it flew away. He never found it again. And did he have that hole? He did. But for then later I made one of these with the mirror cones. I made some extra exhaust for it. So 2 of them I laminated on. And he says it really helps because all the air, if you want air to get in, it has to find some way to get out too. To get out. It won't do it. Right. But now that you have made it a little bit longer, you have also somewhat more options on the cassette that you can use, or on the derailleur that you can use in the rear, because there's a little bit more space. The width. That's the thing. That's the width. There's a little more space for a derailleur. But I'm not sure yet which ones will fit. But in this one, there's actually only the Shimano Shadow derailleur will fit.
Okay.
And
with like what, an 11 to 40?
Yeah, that works.
11 speed?
Yeah.
That works in this one?
In this one, yeah.
And
but in the Snoek L, because it's wider, there's more space.
So you can pick different derailleurs from Shimano?
Probably, well, definitely you will. Yeah. There will be more that will fit in. But I don't know about all the derailleurs, the dimension of all brands and types. I don't know that.
All right.
There will certainly be one that fits.
Okay.
And probably more.
Well, thank you very much, Allert. That's been very informative, and we're looking forward to the Snoek L. I have to say I'm pretty eager myself to be able to fit into one and to experience the ride. I've heard about it so much, and it's been discussed intensively on the German forum, of course, and I think it should be very popular in Germany also, because there we have the conditions for really fast riding there. Okay, thanks a lot.
Okay, welcome.
This is the interview, Velomobile.nl Part 2. With me here now is Eva. Eva and Allert are married, have children, and Eva is the primary reason for the existence of this Velomobile. You wanted something more designed for your size, and this is the reason why the Snoek has been built. Now, Eva, since you're the designated rider, what's your experience with the Snoek?
I had it actually this week with Allert. We talked about that. For me, the Snoek is like well, I have also a racing bike, and I have also a cargo bike, and the Quest was for me like a cargo bike, and the Snoek is the racing bike. So it's actually a huge difference that I am now for the first time experiencing the same what Allert was already 20 years experiencing with the Quest. Yeah. Just low resistant bicycle. Yeah. So it's very light for me, and it's just fast, and you can speed up very easily. So it takes just little energy to get on high speed, and you can keep it for a long time.
Yeah. You've also been racing your Snoek.
Yes.
Pretty successfully, I've seen. It's a pretty fast machine on the course, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very fast. Actually, too fast for the Netherlands, I would say, as you have to stay here on the cycle paths. So I don't go very fast here. I just enjoy that it takes a little energy to go actually pretty fast. Yeah.
You've been regularly riding a Quattrovelo before, also, didn't you? As a commuter bike.
Yes.
So that's the Snoek is probably a world apart from the Quattrovelo with its what is it, like 13 kilos more than the Snoek, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. The one was 10 kilos. Mine Quattro was 32, and the Snoek now is like 21 and a half.
Okay. 22. And 21 and a half is also the weight of the Romanian production models.
It depends on the components, what the customer takes. It's I have also a bit different wheels. Like I have the rims with 28 holes and things, which we cannot get now, and so
standard is 32 then, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And but people put their bigger brakes, the hub brakes.
Yes, the 90 millimeter.
And that's like
brakes,
580 grams more or something. Mountain drives is 800 grams and things like that. It's just it really depends on the components you put there.
In our interview, Allert says he was so envious, he and Theo were so envious of you riding the Snoek, that was the main motivation for creating the Snoek L. So you are personally very pleased with the ride, or you love to ride it.
Actually, every time I come back from from the right, I'm really happy.
yeah.
And I thought I will not use it for commuting because it's just so, it's less practical than other Velomobiles we make.
Yeah.
You cannot get on the cycle path or on the walk path and.
Because of the ground clearance.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I use it already.
Yeah. And I think yours is parked outside, isn't it?
Yes, it's there.
Let's take a look. See, there it is. That's where, right next to Allert's Quattro Velo, there's Eva Snoek. Anything else you would like to add, Eva, to your riding experience that you would like to share with other prospective Snoek riders?
Yes, everybody's concentrated on the high speed. Mm-hmm. But what I really love is that you just can keep 35, 40 kilometer per hour speed for hours, for days. It's just low.
It's so effortless.
It's the most efficient bike we have ever made. So that's just the most important for me.
Thank you. Now, one of the innovations of the Quattro Velo, Allert, was that you had this footplate, that you could take off. And that idea also made it into the Snoek. So the Snoek now, sitting very low to the ground, has foot bulges sitting on a plate that you can take off easily because it's Velcroed on. Yeah. See, there's this big hole down there where the plate goes with the bulges. And now we have here in front of us a range of different bulges. Here you see, this is a standard one.
There's actually two for the Snoek. So this one is with the bigger bulges, and this is with the smaller ones.
Okay.
And this one has the Velcro attachment.
All right. And
for this one, the same. The first one, but that's only Eva Snoek.
Was with screws.
With the screws, like in the Quattro.
And totally flat, right?
And
it's very flat.
Yeah. The flat one is actually good for making holes. So if you want to back up, you can use your feet.
Right. Which of course, on the open wheel well Velomobiles, you use the wheelchair method when you want to back up, which of course with a closed wheel well, you can't really do unless you can get your hands to the ground, and push yourself back, but which is not easy when you have a hood.
No, it would not. No.
But in any case, what happens is this. You see the scratches here on a fairly new Snoek, and over time, and particularly when you crash harder, like I have done a number of times, this has a lot of cracks and breaks and becomes very soft because it is broken.
But actually this one won't break so easily because it's this way around.
Yes.
It will just be pushed in. And the Velcro will...
Right, it's because it's Velcroed on,
allow it to be pushed in. So it won't break so easily. But we have an even better solution for that. Yeah. This is actually one of the Quattro Velo. This was just for practice. It's made out of glass fiber. But we make it with epoxy resin on this part, and the bulges itself is made with a rubber, polyurethane rubber.
Yeah, so you can push this in easily, and this is as stiff as it need be.
Yeah, you can just push it in without any damage. So we made the first one for the Snoek with the same rubber bulges.
Okay, it still doesn't solve the issue of backing up, because that you would only be able to do with cutting a hole into it.
Yeah.
But probably this would be good for most pilots too, who are concerned about ruining their Snoek through scratching it too much. Mm-hmm. Is either if they are short and have short, smaller feet, they can use this version. Or they can go to this version with the rubber in it.
Yeah, but then again, it's a replaceable part. So if it gets too badly damaged, you just replace it.
Right.
No problem.
Here we are at Allert's design cage, where you see the plug the basic model, the original model of the Snoek L. Right? This is the state it's in now. Allert, do you want to explain something about it? What needs to be done on this still?
Yeah, I have to check for symmetry. We have some tools for that, like this one. And of course, where it was cut, you have to find.
Yeah.
This is quite good now, but there's some work here still. Symmetry is not completely now here, and the tail extension, things like that. So if you extend the tail, it will mean that you have to. If you just keep the same width here, and you make it longer, it will make. You will have to start here.
Yes, in order to
adding material, putting the putty on.
Yeah.
Because you can see that this is where it was, and now it's added.
That's about a good 1.5 centimeters. Yeah,
which is good because it makes more space for material.
Right. But it is visibly larger, isn't it? You know, when you see it, it's visibly larger than the Snoek.
Well, all the yellow parts you see, that's the original.
That's the original still.
That came out of the mold for the small Snoek. And all the gray, that's the putty. Right. So you see, if you cut it here, you have to go from there to there to make a Snoek. And this is not even as it should be. There's some more work there. Yeah. The only part that's really the same is this this recess here. That's still the same. Yeah. Although it's changing a little bit here because we had to cut.
Because you made two cuts
on the top here.
Right.
So,
yeah.
So only the lower part is the same, but these bulges are actually 1 centimeter wider. So for the bigger feet and shoes and as mentioned for the mountain drive as well.
Very good.
So everything will change. Also inside the wheel boxes and everything has to be adapted to this new shape.
Yeah. So as you mentioned just now, we didn't have that in the earlier interview. Now the Snoek as it comes today cannot really fit a mountain drive because the queue distance is, with a mountain drive, is too large. The Snoek L will be able to take a mountain drive, most likely.
The narrow version of the mountain drive.
The narrow version of the mountain drive. All right. Because otherwise you fit a double chain wheel or a single chain wheel? Double chain wheel.
Double. Most people have a double one.
Yeah. And a 10 or 11 speed cassette.
11. Yeah.
11. So it's a double with 11, so that should cover most needs.
Yeah. But the range with
is wider, of course.
Is wider.
Yeah, I know.
You cannot get it to a factor 2.5 with just chain blades.
Yeah, my Quattrovela had a mountain drive, and I know that. I had a 75 with a 2.5, which is a very nice
because virtually,
low
if
gear.
you have 75 with a 2.5, you get a 30 tooth on the front.
Yeah, right.
And if you have 36 in the back on a 20-inch wheel,
that's right. That you can crawl up the walls. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So for this. The Quest 3 is not the first one which was milled and drawn in a computer. Actually, the same approach was with the Quattrovelo. So I made this thing by hand, then it was scanned put in a computer, and it was mirror image to make it symmetrical. And then from that one, in styropor, 1-to-1 model was milled. But then, as you can see with these, which are from a mold, you can see that this looks a bit different. From that point on, I had this in 1-to-1 in styropor, and so I have to make some changes here. So this was all done by hand, and actually there was no trunk, so the whole trunk situation here was done by hand. So that was quite a bit of work.
Because you have a better feel for it when you can touch it or when you can...
Yeah, and also if you have to draw all that, that's still very time consuming. And when you work on it, you see things, and also because it takes so long, it's in your mind, and it's in your dreams, so to say.
Yeah.
So, and when you live with the thing you're building for so long, you get all kind of ideas along the way, which you don't get when you just see it on the screen, and you have to say, if it's all right like that, then you only see it for an hour maybe, and no more. Yeah. And that's really different when you really have to really living with it, or you just have to give it the go or no go.
Yes. And that's why it is good that it takes some time.
And then you see little things like this where you say maybe some rain water.
This is where you put this a bit further back here.
I have some. I have some pictures of that, but I made a cut here like that and put that back about this much.
Yeah. And that was an experience from sitting in it, sitting in the model.
But here we have, it's still there, so at some point, this one isn't.
Oh yes. At some point, this will see the light of production day. Folks, what you see here in all its virginesque beauty is the original model of the Quest 3.0. With its front end inspired by the Quattro Velo, with later on closed, but
they will be closed. Something here.
Closed wheel wells. Okay, here are the wheel wells. Yes.
It's the wrong one.
It's for the other side.
That's the idea.
Yeah, that's the idea. Plus, with these US 1960s, 70s inspired tail fin.
To get a proper distance between the blinkers.
Between the lights, that's right. But that was the main reason for it.
Yeah.
Okay, when will that see the light of day?
Oh, I don't know. I don't. I make no promises.
No. There's simply too much work to do on other projects.
Yeah, and the regular work, like
but it is there. Could be completed, and most of the work is done.
Yeah. This one was actually drawn in 3D, and this one was like it is here. Or it's made with a milling machine.
Yes.
So this was the digital version. Only when you do something like that, well, I can do it. I cannot make a 3D drawing in. So, but we have someone who is a professional at it.
And he can do that.
But what I did, I made a scale model. Which is in Dronten now.
Yes.
And we scanned it with 3D scanner. So he used that as a base to make his 3D drawing.
The little yellow model that...
No, the blue one.
Oh, the blue one. It's slightly larger than that, yeah.
So that had... But then, what I find difficult is you're just looking at the screen and you can turn it around and everything, but it's not like real life. It's still... Although it's 3D and you can do all kinds of tricks,
it just happens on the screen.
It's not real. And when you get it real, when it's made out like this, you will see things that you still want to change. So you see the greenish stuff that's again the putty made by hand.
Because you changed the shape of the cockpit.
I wanted to change some things there and some things here. So probably will change some more. Because it was just... It's difficult to see everything on the screen.
But it is there. For those of you people out there waiting for the Quest 3.0, it exists, not just on a screen, but also in a 1-to-1 scale model. So keep waiting and keep hoping.